Hey, Tom here, FlipAnything USA. So on my channel, I share how I made my fortune in real estate, buying and selling since I was 19 years old. I started in a recession, and we're definitely going into one now. And we can talk about the big lie, the latest big lie. Latest big lie right now is that we're talking ourselves into a recession, and nothing could be further from the truth. You can't really talk yourself into a recession. Yeah, maybe you can prepare for one. Maybe you stop spending a little bit, and they'll call that a recession. But unfortunately, the forces that be out there that are trying to hold things together, that's what they want to perpetuate. That this isn't real. You know, they talked about it being a transitory thing, right? And then they. That started to not fly when it got to about 90%. And of course now I got a neighbor doing something I got blowing on. So if that's too nasty next door, if you can hear that noise, let me know. Yep, you're right. So Barry, good notice there, Barry. Like Barry says, that the definition of a recession generally is that we have 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP, and I think we just had that as well. But we also have something very real. We have job losses, right? We have unemployment claims. I think 250,000 roughly. The numbers are a little bit vague, but roughly 250,000 over this week. And some will say it's like it's a cyclical thing, but it really isn't. The fact is, you can have something like this happen every once in a while. There's explanations for job drops. It could be a Christmas cycle, people getting laid off after Christmas, retooling for a new plant. But usually, even when they say they're retooling for a plant, like if it's a car, I mean that's a blip on the screen. It's not big enough to really matter. And generally, most of those guys will keep them employed while they're retooling. That I've seen. Hey, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you haven't seen my website, go to FlipAnythingUSA.com. Got several millionaires that have just simply been following my path, the way I got to where I got, and urge you to check that out. It doesn't hurt to look. Anyways, what part of Florida are you in? I'm in St. Augustine. I'm a new realtor. You need some tips. Yeah. Just work your ass off is what I tell you, and I'm not in Florida, but I go there often. In fact, I'm actually looking. I'm looking at around Bel Air Beach where Ben Mala is, but nothing you can help me with. But also, like I say, the stock guys flip out, because they're wanting everybody to hold together. So they're the ones that get out there and say, oh yeah, this is silly. This isn't even happening, and. Then you saw Tesla just sold almost $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. That doesn't show any faith. I'm not sure when he sold it. He probably sold it a month or 2 ago. But that doesn't show much faith in the economy either. He's bailing because he knows the sentiments on all that stuff. People are going to need money. People are worried. People are going to start liquidating their assets, how they can, their stock and that sort of thing. They'll be selling the extra cars. I'm actually eyeing new cars myself. I'm waiting for it. I know the cars are going to go to shit. That's what always happens is people get rid of the extra second car, the sports car, which is what I'm looking for. So I'm just going to take my time playing with that. But the other thing is look, jobs are going down. We've got record numbers of immigrants flooding into this country illegally that we're paying on average $2,500 a head for to take care of them. So we're getting burdened with that. And guess what? That money's not going as far because of inflation. So now what? They're going to need a raise too, right? And so all these things, you can't ignore them. You can close your eyes to it if you want. You go ahead. I've seen what happens during these times and what they generally do. And I started it. I was kind of young for that first recession we had. And believe me, I'm going back to the 80s. I'm going back to the 80s when I say this, early 80s. Okay, but the difference is we have the interest rates going up at the same time. We're taking on enormous amounts of debt. People don't even think about the omnibus bills that we've already passed. People think, oh, they're not going to do, they're going to push the Build Back Better thing, which is, of course, is ridiculous. Believe me, they've already passed so much green shit. They've already got so much coming. They're shoving down our throat. It's already done. It's already done. Okay, this is what politicians, or I should say, the politicians know very well. Do all the dirty work in the first 2 years of the administration. Just do all the stupidest stuff. Curry favor with all your lobbyists. Give them everything they want. And I'm talking about both sides. I don't care what side you're on. Believe me, they're one party in Washington. You don't even have to say, oh, gee, I'm a Republican, I'm a Democrat, whatever. Believe me, if you support those guys, you're both, and you don't even know it, because that's what they do. They eat together. They're friends. They play golf together. They just put on a little theater for us. And like right now, they just passed some gun laws, and now they're going to push. And this is one of the things they do as favors to each other. The Democrats will do as a favor to the Republicans. They'll say, hey, listen, we're going to push to ban assault weapons again. It distracts the public from the real problems, so the Democrats get that out of it. But at the same time, what they do is, by doing that, they enable the Republicans to drain money from their constituents. And so they call it a sucker bills, right? Because there's other names for it too. But in other words, you just imagine you have two people, you believe in one of them, and you distrust the other. Well, they're buddies and you don't know it. Well, they can deceive you terribly, because one of them will propose to do something that will rile you up, that'll want to help you send money for your cause, and it's all bullshit. It's just a setup for you to be suckered and extrapolate money from you, and that is what is happening. So-and-so is in, I am now full in tech stocks. Well, I don't know. I would say good for you, but I really don't know. I hope it's good for you. I'm all about real estate. The stocks are very. In all honesty, I'm not going to tell you here, but there's a couple of. I'll just say this: there's a couple of green companies that there's probably some opportunities on that I'm going to look at, and I'm just going to look. You know what? I make too much money in real estate. Stocks have never been able to keep up with my real estate portfolio. Never. And nobody's has. I've never seen anybody make the kind of money I've made. And I know some guys that have made a lot of money, but it doesn't keep up with real estate, folks. Real estate is so much more stable, and you can count on it if you know what you're doing and you buy it right. And that's what I teach in my book. If you don't have my book, get my book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. I don't have a copy to flash in front of you. It costs $10. You can be listening to it or reading it in just a short time on Kindle, Audible, or order a paperback if you want. I make peanuts on that. I don't even care about it, but it's really good for you. Good market for new investors. Listen, it's always, when it comes to real estate, if you're new, you're opening up a brand new world of wealth to be had. Now, there's people that do screw you and take advantage of you, and will trick you. I mean, that's in any business, right? You can't trust anybody. I'm probably the only person to tell you, don't trust anybody that's selling you something. That means a real estate agent. That means these fake gurus that are running around. And really also consider this, because Chris Crone's the worst on this, I think. And I've seen it. Chris Crone talks all this nonsense that, in no details, never does he talk about any details about how he made his money. He really doesn't. It's all vague and stuff. But that is just a lead in to get your email and that sort of thing. And then you will be pounded with emails asking you how much money you have in your equity. How much equity? Do you have any equity in your home? Do you have equity in your home? I've made so much money investing. Do you have equity in your home? You can invest with me. You are the money. It's just foolish to think otherwise. And I'm going to do some videos on that. Currently my studio is what you see right here. I've actually, I've had a hell of a nice studio, big studio, and way bigger than I've ever needed. But I've went ahead and rented that out. And so that's gone. I'm vacating it now. So I don't need it. You know what? If you can't discern the information I'm giving to you is gold, okay, then it just doesn't matter. I just don't think I need to do slick productions. Although I do have one of my good guys, my editor's coming back, and we would showing you some nice stuff. I've got quite a few remodels going on, and I share with you some of that stuff. Whether it's counters or concrete or whatever it is. So some of that's coming. But yeah, back to the main topic, the big lies. Listen, they always try to tell you, don't panic. And while they're trying to keep you not panicking, then they're selling out the back door. Just like Elon Musk. He got rid of Bitcoin, right? He didn't make an announcement about it. He just quietly got out. And that's what people do is they call it the pump and dump, right? They try to tell you everything's great. Oh, buy. And it's like, they're feeding you with the left hand while the right hand is, picking your pocket or they're doing something else. We all know how that works. And to always expect the worst, okay? Everybody out there, you have to expect the worst. People are devious. People are sinister, okay? When it comes to money making, there are people that will take your last dollar. They don't care. They could have tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. They don't care. Don't think, the idea that somebody's going to hand it to you. It's not going to happen. Oh, real estate is so much work. And how much do you know about real estate, Peter? I've been doing real estate for 41 years. It's the best way I've ever found to make money. And I don't even know anybody that comes close to making the kind of money that I make. Whether it be a job or profession. I mean, I know lawyers make $2,000 an hour, and they don't always work, and that's work. I mean, and that's high paid work there. I have doctors, buddies, so I don't know what you're talking about, Peter, but I'd like to hear some more thoughts from you. Tesla, which made waves last year when it revealed a major investment in Bitcoin, has now sold off most of its holdings of the cryptocurrency. Yeah, I know. And then and they also, listen, Elon's a smart guy. He also left everybody with, but he's still holding his Dogcoin or Dogecoin or whatever you guys call it. If you guys get a chance, go take a look at Dogecoin Millionaire. This is just the saddest bunch of bullshit. I feel sorry for the guy. He's a nice young man, but he threw money into Dogecoin, and and he went from a few $100,000 to a few million, and maybe 2.5, 3 million, something like that. And then he decided he's going to hold it until it got to 10 million. Okay, just a stupid, foolish move, thinking that it went up, 3 million in 6 months or 2 million in 6 months. I guess it's going to happen again, and so Pete's interacting here with me. We're engaging about real estate. He says, I have apartments, but was too lazy to rent, so they are empty since 2 years in the best areas. All right, so why is it so much work, Peter? You're not even doing any work. So listen, I've made millions of dollars on apartments. I don't love them, and you're in a nice area. A lot of people don't. Sometimes the best properties are in apartments buildings. To be quite honest, can be in what I call like a C or B class, because there's usually they're steady. They'll stay there longer, and then what'll happen is, in fact, if write me, Peter, we'll take those off your hand, because it doesn't sound like you're managing them very well. And that's one of the things I make money on, is I buy properties that are poorly managed, that have upward potential, and that usually means vacancy. They don't keep them rented. So you would be a prime candidate for me to buy. So, okay, Peter says, I earn much more with my IT company. Well, you said you own apartments, though. If you own apartments and you don't manage them, you have an IT business that you say you do well with, and that's fantastic. I'm sure you do. It's whatever you have a passion for, so it's usually make the most money in. But why would you hold on to something that is a negative for you, that you're not you don't like? Now, Jeffrey, I asked first. Write me. See, now people are hitting them up. They realize, everybody smells money. No, I don't care. Yeah, you see, people smell money when they see a poorly managed property, like you described. Peter has been sharing this same story for a while now. Not sure why. Yeah, I guess I miss it sometimes because I'm here talking. Anyways. Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, things do appreciate. Good deal. Anyways, so you can write me, Tom at FlipAnything USA, Peter, if you want to sell those. And I'll talk to you, or I'll refer you to somebody maybe in your area that'd be interested in buying. Anyway, so what do you guys think about? What do you guys think about this economy? Shit, I don't know. You guys just it's. Listen, people say, oh, they're never going to raise interest rates, because they have, the bonds and what we pay, what we got to pay in bonds. And I said, since when does the government ever do anything that's right? They never do anything that's good. You got to remember, the government is made and the decisions are made by people that can be bought. They're 100% bought. They're influenced by money. Lobbyists say, hey, we really need this, and we're inclined to support you if you feel the same way. And then suddenly they feel the same way. Hey, if you just got here, please hit that thumbs up button, hit that notification button, hit that like button, subscribe button. It helps the channel. My channel's actually on a little bit of a surge growing again because I've had time. I've been making time. You know what I mean? I quit worrying about trying to do it in the studio, and so I just come in here and talk to you guys, tell you about my day. I told you guys yesterday, a little beef with the. I haven't even heard from my countertop guy, so anyway, I'm sure I'll be hearing from him eventually. My area market cap is 4 to 5%. Yeah, there you go. And you don't move unless it's at least 10. That's good thinking. Yeah, I mean, you got to make your money on the margin between what you borrow money for. And right now you can borrow money for roughly 5.25% on average if you have good credit for commercial properties. Maybe a little bit less in some areas, but yeah, there's just no sense doing anything foolish. And I'll tell you, it's really important is to have a good relationship with your banks. By the way, so like I called my one bank, and I have a few, but I called one that I have a line of credit with, and I said, hey, look, I want to lock this in. This one you can even make it, if I want to fix it, and or you can turn it into a term loan, and I'm going to pull more money out, and I'm going to buy a few more things, and so what I did is I gave them the benefit of turning it into a fixed rate, and because they've already done the title work, they've already got everything done, all that stuff's done. It could be very easy for them. And he hesitated, like, I don't know if we can do that. He's an honest guy, he's a good guy, my banker. He doesn't have the power in his bank because it's a big bank. So I went to my smaller bank, one of the smaller banks, and I said, hey, listen, you want to take a $1.6 million loan against a property worth about $4 million, maybe $5 million, and maybe even increase the line and or turn it into a term loan? He said, sure. He goes, you serious about this? I said, yeah. And so, and he gave me a quote, and he said, well, here, I better get you. And see, for the other guy, because he's in a bigger bank, he has to go to committee. He doesn't have the power to say, sure, Tom, we'll make you that loan. I'll lock you in right now. And so he couldn't do that on the spot. And see, the Fed's about to raise the rates again. I don't know if it's going to be 0.5 point or 3/4 of a point. They're talking about 3/4 of a point, and they'll probably do it. But it could just be 0.5 point. They've been spineless in the past, but they need to do it. They need to do it, to be quite honest. But so what he did was he didn't act like my other bank, the smaller bank that's got the power. Which, by the way, the big banks don't like the small banks. They're trying to push them out. They're trying to squeeze them out, and they got a big lobby with the country. So whatever you do, support your small banks. Support your small banks. It's very important. They're the most competitive. They know you best. They know the community. They know you. Very, very important. You get a relationship with with these off-name banks that are inside your immediate community. Then the other thing is, like I said, the other guy, he said, oh, you're serious, Tom? I said, yeah. He said, okay, I'll lock you in right now. So he locked me in at the lowest rate he can give me, and with a phone call. I'm not even worried about signing anything. He said, you're locked. Okay, and then what do you think my next email was? My next email was writing both bankers, telling my bank that has the current line of credit, that did a appraisal on the property not very long ago, maybe a year ago, I can't remember. And I say, hey, please forward that appraisal, because sometimes they'll keep them in-house. They may not even want to share it with me. I think I always get a copy somewhere along the line. But I just, introduced the two bankers and said, hey, please share the appraisal on that property with my other banker, and introduced him, and and now that's going. And the reason for that is to get that, as I want the new bank, I want them to accept that appraisal as their appraisal to give me this loan. And they will if the appraiser that did that is within their pool of appraisers that they use. The banks have a certain amount of pool of appraisers that they use. They don't use just anybody and everybody. They have a certain criteria. But oftentimes there's crossover, and the same appraisers work for different banks. So this is gold information by the way. You guys got to remember this. Even if you don't, just remember it. Even if it's not something that applies to your financial situation today, banks can, when they give you a loan, they can change it. They can change it if you have the if you have the power, or if you have the weight and they want your business, they'll fight for it, and they can do some things. So anyhow, so like I said, so the one bank, and my bank knows, my bank that I'm asking the appraisal information, he knows I'm about to take the loan out. In fact, that's why I pulled the last $400 and some odd thousand out of that line of credit. Is I maxed it before I have the other guys take it over. So and then with this $400 grand, it's just money I have at a fairly low rate, and like I said, whatever I do with it, I'll do with it. It's going to be invested in real estate, that's for certain. It will not be. I won't put a penny in stock. So, anyways, what's happening with real estate with you guys? Anybody? Listen, you can still make money. I'm closing one next week. I'll share it with you after I close it. I'm calling it, so check this out. I'm calling it the Red Rum Murder House. Red Rum Murder House. And you're going to see why. You'll probably understand why some of the people backed out of it. It looks like Charles Manson's grandkids live there. It's pretty weird. But man, it is a good, sound little structure. That is the money. Let me tell you, the more a house stinks, the more profitable it is. And I'm talking about real stink. And this one stinks terribly. But we'll fix that. But those are things, like I say, some people can't see through this. Some things that are just aesthetic. It's things that just need a little bit of paint, and they don't walk around and they don't realize, geez, this thing's got, brick 3 sides. It's got good foundation. The roof is new. AC is fairly new. All things that eat your wallet when you go in to do a fixer-upper and that sort of thing. This thing here isn't going to cost peanuts. In fact, probably the biggest single cost I'm going to have is re-siding the one back wall that doesn't have siding. And that's fairly, $50 a sheet. It's actually expensive compared to what it used to be. Hardy cement panels, $50 a sheet now. It used to be much less. But it's worth it. There's just money there. And so I'm debating on taking that one and I'm going to turn it around really fast. This one's going to be a really quick fix-up. And I'll go ahead and do that really quick. I'll show you guys how rough it is. I'm not thinking, you guys lose interest when I show you how I get into doing all the, the fixing up and the measuring and the, so I lose my channel's interest. Everybody just wants to see how I make the easy money, on the deal itself. And so I'll concentrate on that, but I'll still show you a quick transformation, and then I'll flip it, or maybe not. If I really feel good about it. It's hard for me to flip because I don't like paying short-term capital gains. I don't want to pay those short-term capital gains. But if I think that makes more sense than holding it, then I certainly will do that. But the best thing is that I hold those houses because they're semi-liquid. I can get rid of them very quickly. Houses are easy to get rid of. Obviously there's exceptions, in certain markets. But when I find the right commercial property, what I'll do is I'll leverage that. Whenever I sell these, I've got quite a pool of houses right now, like a bunch. And every time I sell a house for, 400 or 500,000 or maybe more, that gives me the opportunity to buy something that costs 4 times as much and get maybe a 10% return on it, which should be fine right now. Somebody made a comment here. Are you doing new flips with this potential high interest rate? Yes, I am. I'm buying one this week. We are 15% drop on transaction. Yeah, that's month to month. I got you. Yeah, no, that's pretty much across the board. Sandy, I think I'm reading. All deals are falling out. This last year, this last month, 15% of all contracts fell out of escrow, and that again, we're going into a recession. And like I say, people try to tell you we're not, because they're trying to offload their problems on you. Everybody, listen, I'm the same way. I stay very optimistic while I'm trying to get rid of my shit, okay? But I'm not in that position right now, and and I wouldn't mislead you guys anyways. I wouldn't mislead you in any circumstance. What I do on my deals in local areas, this channel doesn't matter. Again, people, when I sell a property, nobody even knows it's me selling the property, because the property's not in my name, it's in one of my partnerships, family limited partnerships. I still own it, I still bought it, my kids and I, it's my kids and I that would own it. So anyways, I guess let's call it quits. It's already 25 minutes. I didn't mean to go this long, but a lot of great things, a lot of great opportunities out there. So listen, if you got something you don't like, you want to get rid of, man, jump on it. Get my book, read the chapter, Leapfrogging. Just go straight to Leapfrogging. If you're new here, go right to Leapfrogging, okay? Take a look at that right now. If you've got property that you're worried about eating you later on, read my chapter on Leapfrogging immediately. It can save you a ton. Yeah, it can keep you from being tied down for a very long time with a bad investment. Hey, please, again, hit that thumbs up button. It helps the channel, but especially if you don't mind, if you want to really help me, go into the comments under the video, not this chat, but the comments, and you can say something nice, or you can say something mean. I don't care, as long as it's credible, right? I don't care if you disagree with me. That's fine. And okay, Opa, just found you. What do you think about wholesaling? I think it's too much work. Can you bring me off market deals? No, I mean, I don't need you. To be honest, I don't need you. So I don't need your help, to be honest. So I don't want you to waste your time. I'm not a good lead for you right now. I have no problem finding. I find deals all the time that are plenty good enough for that other people would buy that aren't good enough for me. So the stuff I buy is the stuff that you would be borrowing and stealing to get. That's the criteria. I have a very high standard for making money, a high standard of profit. I like a big. There's got to be a big gap there for me to make some money, and that's what I look for, and that's what I take advantage of. And I don't touch anything else. But again, if you would help me, is put some comments under the video after this is done, and that would be fantastic. And otherwise, check out some of the other videos that I've done. I've done 1,000 of them. If you got an interest in anything, remodels or commercial, industrial, apartments, I've done just about everything there is out there. Made money at all of it. And land is a fantastic way to make money, but you got to be sharp. You really want to get in my mentorship before you tackle land, I would tell you. But you can do well. Listen, there is no bad real estate. Okay, don't think you got to buy anything. The old idea of, I'm going to buy a duplex and live in one side. Listen, it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea if that's your dream. But don't close. You're going to miss a lot of opportunities if you don't open up and see what there is there. So in the Netherlands, real estate is at its peak. Yeah, I don't know. It's too far away for me to care. But that's interesting. Everything's at its peak, by the way. Everything's it'll pass up this someday, but it's definitely hit a plateau for a while. It has to, and it's going to go down because people people rely on the bank to buy property, and guess what? If the interest goes up, their capacity to pay more goes down. So, hey guys, I got to go. Take care, and please think of me when you make a comment. See you. Bye.